I'm basically an embedded engineer, a real-time engineer. I've been working on Arduino for the past, let's say, 4 years till now. Let me make it very clear, time does not define expertization in any field. It is how much you use it and how good you are. Are everyone of you familiar with microcontrollers?
Yeah.
Yes. Any language that you specifically use for a microcontroller? Can someone tell me? C language. So first thing when someone says C language, we are pretty hesitant, right? Because it's got quite a lot of syntax, quite a lot of variables, definition, right? Here, that will is possible. We don't use a specific C language, or rather a specific embedded language. Arduino uses its own language. When I say Arduino, I actually mean microcontroller. Okay. So, it's basically an open source platform where everyone and anyone can use it. It is not necessary that you have to know C language for this. That's the best part about Arduino. And another great thing is it's independent on the OS. You can use it in Linux, you can use it in Windows, you can use it in Mac. Now recently, since Android is becoming quite popular, we have a team actually working on using Android to program Arduino. It's still in process, so that's the reason I have put it. And you can see here it says intended for artists, students and hobbyists. Not all artists will know C language, right? Not necessary for them. So that's how simple this microcontroller is. And to tell you the truth, more than students or academic professors using it, there are more artists or more hobbyists who are actually using these kits. When I came across Arduino, I wasn't introduced by a professor or rather any student. In fact, I went to a hunter's house. He was hunting and he actually wanted to, he was a photographer at the same time. And he wanted to take photographs based on motion sensing. And he used this small kit to make that motion sensor for his camera. That's when I got introduced to this controller. So, not a student, not a professor, rather a hunter or a photographer introduced. So, the programming language is called wiring. Like I said, it's not C language. It is similar to C, but it is not exactly C language. When we go through, you can see. And most of the program is called as a sketch. It's not called a code or a program, it's called a sketch. Okay. This is how an Arduino looks. And in Italy. Okay. Sorry. Do you have any doubt? This is a new board. It's called Arduino Uno. Okay. Uno is a basic board that can be used. Arduino has about 20 odd boards. The highest being called as a mega board. Mega has about 56, if I'm right, 56 pins. This uses about 28 pins at the moment. So I guess everyone's familiar with Atmel company. So it uses a regular Atmel processor, microcontroller actually. Most Atmel require C language or rather a programmer, an AVR programmer. But a very good point about this board is you don't require a programmer. It's a built-in programmer. So in the board we can have a programmer as well as a developing prototype board. You don't have to have an extra board for accessing the pins or anything. Once you program, you can use the same board. And the new series actually uses an 8-bit microcontroller with 32 KB flash memory. The older versions, if you have heard about, uses a 16 KB. This is just a technical specification for the Atmel processor that they controller that they're using. It's an 8-bit architecture. It uses a Newman architecture actually. And it's got 32 registers, 32 bytes, and 1 KB EEPROM, 2 bytes of SRAM. Generally, we don't use the SRAM over here. So even in the Arduino specification, it does not mention much about the SRAM. Yes, sir.
We use Arduino, we don't need to know any of this.
Yeah, we don't need to know any of these things.
Because electronic faculty is involved, we are showing. To use an Arduino, an artist need not know all this.
Exactly.
He need to know how to sketch.
Now this is the Arduino specification basically. Pretty much the same thing. Though the Atmel series can work at a 20 megahertz, they are clocking at 16 megahertz. Okay. And this is quite important. Flash memory, though we have 32 kb, 0.5 kb has been used for bootloader. There's a small bootloader over here. That's what makes Arduino different from any Atmel microcontroller. This is the same thing. We use two Atmel microcontrollers over here. One microcontroller is actually the programmer part. Like I said, this board already has a programmer with it. So this is a small programmer. Even this IC can be accessed using the pins. He's given you the pins, and you can also use the USB side of the controller. You can even program this according to your needs. So it's not necessary that you are accessing only this. You can access the whole board totally. You can reprogram that, you can reprogram this. These ports, what you see over here, is related to this microcontroller. Only these pins are related to this microcontroller. And it's as simple.
Reprogramming, how many times we can do
Reprogramming, they have given a cycle of 10,000 cycles.
Same board.
Same board.
Students ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ practicals. Next batch ಬಂದು ಅದನ್ನೇ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು.
You can reuse
Next
it.
batch ಬಂದು ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. Manufacturer guarantees 10,000 times it can be
Reprogrammed.
reprogrammed. Practically we are doing much more. He guarantees 10,000. So one set of boards is there, one set of boards. 10 students can work peacefully, multiplied by n number of times.
Sir, history lecturers are there, English language lecturers, commerce lecturers are there. You have to tell them how it is useful for them. Even on Kannada professor is also there. Mathematics professor is there, computer professor are there, electronics, so it is a combination.
This session, no, we all get big zeros.
Once you start hands-on, you'll be much more interested.
Madam, it is my job to convert Greek and Latin to Kannada and translate. I will convert it.
So you have to tell how it is useful for them, for an English professor, history, commerce. Okay, continue.
Now, usually we have seen that most of the boards or any microcontroller, when connecting to any programming device, it requires quite a lot of cables, like for instance serial ports or USB ports. It's very simple in this matter. You have to just connect the USB to your computer, like you see over here, and just to the board. Okay. It powers the programmer automatically using the computer. Though we are given an option over here for a separate DC input, it is not generally required during programming. Okay. We use this separate DC input only while it is a standalone application. When you're not using the computer along with it, you can give it a different supply and use it. Now, many of the programming softwares requires installations, right? When given an application, we go through a process of installations where we have a window which says next, and finish. Whereas in the case of Arduino, it's not required. There is absolutely no installation required. It is a direct zip file which has been downloaded from this link, and then you can just unzip it, start using it. There is no installation required. That is how easy it is.
If you are very familiar with copying and pasting,
Copy paste basically.
and movies, it's very similar to that. Just copy paste.
Now, this is generally any drive that we go to. You can see that we have just pasted it. Once we have a zip file, we have just unzipped it and we have just pasted it. And when you open that folder, This is how it looks. And this is the program that has to be clicked on to start the program. That is all. Basically, there's no installation, absolutely no installation required. And the whole size is about 80 MB?
110 MB.
110 MB. Usually most programmers go beyond 200 to 300 because of all the compilers and libraries. But here it's quite compact. And once you open this file, we have a window which looks like this. It's basically an environment. But because this was made by an artist, he calls it as a sketch most of the time. The program is also called as a sketch. This is just a plain sketch basically. And once you connect the board, your board is automatically recognized. And these are the different types of Arduino boards that are available right now. And most of the boards, like if you can see this called LilyPad, it says LilyPad Arduinos. LilyPad Arduinos are actually used by fashion designers to have LEDs or different sorts of sensors on their clothes. That's how flexible Arduino is. Even fashion designers use it basically. And you can, all the Pro series are here. These few series what we use up to Leonardo is actually for artists. Everyone can use it. It's very simple. Very few are actually there for engineering students, to tell you the truth. They do not focus on engineering students. They rather focus on different other fields other than engineering students. So once you connect the board, it automatically recognizes the board. And it also recognizes which port that you select. So usually in other programmers, we have to manually select them. But here it's not required.
Thank you all. Sir, we have a meeting.
Sure, sir.
Please carry on. Thank you all.
Same meeting. Okay, done.
ನಾನು ಸಂಡೇ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಯಾರನ್ನೇ
Okay, thank you.
Madam, stop. I'll stop.